Holy freaking 99th episode, all things excellence fam. Can you even believe it? We have been here a year next week. 100 episodes, 1 year. Can't freaking believe it. So excited. I feel like it was a giant roller coaster of a growth journey that I took you on this last year, and you got to meet so many people that I'm obsessed with them, with their services, with their products. So many people that are in my corner of life that help me be the very best, most excellent version of myself. And I absolutely cannot wait to do that when we bring y'all season 3 at a new level with this complete focus of women in leadership and business and just helping y'all get even greater in your intention, in your alignment, and in your excellence. I could not be more excited. So today I want to talk to y'all about ditching busy for a slower, more intentional year. I'm doing this to myself, and I'm finding clients, everyone. Can we all just agree? Christmas break was too short. It was so fast and so short, and I feel like we all came skidding in sideways, hair on fire. We crashed hard, and then all of a sudden, re-entry has been brutal. It is in my house. It is dead middle of soccer season. Super weird. In Phoenix, Arizona, soccer is a winter sport. My husband runs the 7 to 12 program, and he coaches the varsity team and the 8th grade team. And then he has obviously some assistant coaches underneath him that help him with the others. And somehow I am one of the primary people that helps run all of the booster stuff. And we know the busiest women get the most things done. In my last business that I built, we would always say that we had that saying like, "Oh, you always want to recruit busy women because busy women get the most done." Well, let me tell y'all why. Busy women get the most done because we do not have time to think about the idea of not doing the thing. We don't have time to over contemplate it. We don't have time to second guess ourselves. We only have time to get it done right now while we're thinking about it. And so busy women do get the most done. But I also really want to slow this year down, and I want to ditch busy for a slower, more intentional year with a crap little white space built in so I can squeeze more juice and joy out of all the berries of life this year. So, one thing to remember is this, that a confused mind does nothing. So if you have re-entered the year, your kids are back in school, everybody's back in all the activities, you've leaped right back into work after a little break over Christmas, and you didn't set down to create the time to ask yourself, what do I really want to get out of 2026? What is most important to me? A confused mind does nothing, which means you're going to have a whole heck of a lot of busy, really low intention, and you're going to get to the end of yet another year and not be excited about the progress that you did or didn't make. I keep having clients saying that they need to be better with their time, that they could have a more intentional year if they just had better time management skills. And I keep reminding all of them, first of all, busy is not a badge of honor, so we have to choose it. We have to choose to slow down. We have to choose to be more intentional when we live in a world that almost demands we show ourselves running around like a chicken with our head cut off in order to be worthy of our life. And I feel like, as somebody that comes from the Midwest, in the Midwest we do this thing where we're it's like we're in a competition to out complain each other and to out busy each other. And I always say I refuse to succumb to that. I think here, living in a city, in one of the biggest metroplexes in the country, I think we're like maybe top 10 or something like that. There is a conversation, I've brought it up before, that I have with my Pilates friends in the parking lot. I refuse to let other people's poor time management affect how I drive. I'm not going to speed. You're not going to get there any faster. You're going to cut me off and then clip off the front of my car, and then I'm going to wave to you sitting at the stoplight. And I always look at these people in the car, y'all, and I say, like, your poor time management skills are not my problem. Like, your need to look and feel busy, to feel worthy, is not a badge of honor, and it's definitely not a reason for me to go over the speed limit. And so what I found that there are pretty much 4 pillars I focus on with my clients to help them eliminate that busy in their life and increase intention. And now y'all know I'm calling it busy. I refuse to call it hustle because I love the hustle. I respect the hustle. But I also think there's a difference in high frequency hustle, where you're doing the grind in the hours that you're supposed to be doing the grind, and that low frequency busy, buzzing, running around with like a chicken with your head cut off type of hustle. Like I think those are two different hustles. And so the first pillar that I tend to focus on with clients, the first one is mindset. And it's analyzing what are the tiny habitual thought patterns that are eating up your time. And I think a lot of these, it's very simple. A lot of our time gets eaten up by over contemplating and second guessing. We spend so much time over analyzing what we should do and second guessing if we should do it. And where I see it is, it really is a lack of self-trust. So your goal in this area with mindset in this pillar is to increase your self-trust. Remember, no is a full sentence. You don't have to do anything. You're not proving your worth to anyone. I feel that, y'all. I feel that sometimes even when I show up at my husband's school, it's like you have to look busy, or people just assume, oh, they don't have kids, like they've got nothing to do, they've got all this free time in the world. Or my mom in sales training years ago, they trained her that you want to answer the phone with a rushed tone, so that way you sound busy, so you can have quicker phone calls. And I think what that did was it trained her to then always kind of be in this energy of rush. And I always tell her, I need you to take a breath and calm down. Do not answer the phone in a hurried tone with me, because I refuse to live in the energy of rush. Excellence never happens in the energy of rush. And remember that messy progress is better than perfect procrastination. So getting over that little mindset habit, that little pattern in your brain that causes you to over contemplate, second guess yourself, and work on increasing your self-trust. The second pillar are your core values. I find that our time management gets just kind of crappy because we don't know what the point is. We don't know what we want. We don't know why we're going after it. And we just haven't asked ourselves, like, what is really most important? I've been looking at this a lot lately because I feel like my hair was on fire in December and I did not like it. I do not live like that. I refuse to live like that. And a big part of that was how much I was doing in soccer. And my counterpart, her son plays on the team, and he's just all of a sudden had like massive health scares, been in and out of the hospital. So out of nowhere, I was really kind of thrown to the wolves to have to do a lot of this stuff on my own. And, I've talked about this on here. While yes, there's other moms, and there's a certain amount of help and delegation that I can ask for, but there's a certain amount where, especially as an Enneagram 8, y'all, it's just easier to get it done. It's easier to put my head down, do the thing, and get it done. But about halfway through our tournament games in December, I just went, okay, if I wasn't letting someone else tell me how to spend the money that I was busting my butt to help fundraise, what would I do? What would I do this weekend with the like 5 games that I got to make sure these boys eat? And I thought to myself, I would just go buy pre-made stuff. Like, that's what Costco is for. Costco Deli is one of the greatest delegation things in the world. Now, is it 100% healthy? No, it is not. But is it good enough with some protein and a bag of carrots and a bag of cuties to make sure these boys are getting fuel in the middle of their tournament games? It absolutely is. And so asking myself, this is an example, y'all, because asking myself, what is really most important? It's most important that I'm at the game. It's most important that I'm cheering my head off, that I'm paying attention at the game, that I'm seeing their plays, that I see those shots, because I know they're going to come up to me after the game and they're going to ask me about it. It's important that they are fed after the games, but what's not important is who cooks it. And I said to my husband a couple days ago, what it costs me they love Raising Cane's, which y'all, I know that's like the worst thing in the world to feed them, but they really do love it. And they keep asking me for it. They keep going, can we just have Raising Cane's? Can we please have Raising Cane's? And I said, oh my gosh, yes. So I looked up the catering for Raising Cane's. To cater Raising Cane's for my husband's Simple Varsity team is less than a 90-minute session with me. A 90-minute clarity session is more than what it costs for me to feed these 23 boys Raising Cane's after the game. So instead of me cooking for like 5 or 6 hours and going through all the work to get that ready, I'm just going to have Raising Cane's catered, and then I'm going to pay a little bit more money, and I'm going to have the Uber or DoorDash people deliver it. So that way I can be there and I can be present in the game. I don't feel like I'm not getting my work done in the middle of the day because I'm trying to cook for them. I don't feel like I'm spending this time in the middle of the game trying to catch up on my work instead of paying attention to their plays, but asking myself what's really most important. And again, it's that I'm there, it's that I'm being intentional, it's that I'm watching their plays, and that they know I'm doing the work to make sure that they are fed. So like the heart is there. They do not care if I'm cooking it or if Raising Cane's is cooking it. I also have an exercise on core values that is inside of the book club. If you are a member of the book club, for $17 a month, you get to be a member of the book club. The link is below. And, of course, you can read the book or you can not read the book. You can get on the Zooms, you can not get on the Zooms, or you can just read my PDF cliff notes of all the books that we're reading and you can go about your day. But also what's inside of that is all of the tools that I use with my coaching clients. Like I would pay $17 a month to be in this book club, just to have access to these tools. And one of the tools that's in there is the core value assessment. And so that's going to help you figure out what are your core values, what's most important for you, and finding those top 5 core values. So when you ask yourself if you want to integrate something new into your life, running it through those things and asking yourself, is this really important? Is this really something that I want to add into my life? One thing that my coach taught me recently to ask myself is, am I passionate about this? Does it pay me what I'm worth? And is it worth the amount of time, the quality of life, the impact on the quality of life that it's going to have on me? Another place you can find a really great core values exercise is our friend Sarah, her soul planner. So if you get the soul planner, that exercise is at the beginning of that. Real quick, before we dive back in, I want to share something I created for the women who are growing, but still kind of feel like they're doing it alone. If that statement just hit, then this is for you. I've never felt so aligned and so alone, is the message I kept hearing as more and more women were falling in love with their life doing what they were born to do. They were craving that like-minded, iron-sharpening iron relationship with other women who were as focused, powerful, and determined to be positive as they were. And that is why I created the Growth Collective. It's our All Things Excellence book club community where you don't have to read the book because audio and PDF cliff notes are provided for you. There's a community for you to connect and network with other growth-minded women, plus 2 monthly Zooms where you receive connection and live coaching from me. Head on over to chelseadbc.com/book club to join us. All right, let's get back into it because what you're hearing today is exactly why spaces like the Growth Collective exist. We were never meant to grow alone. The third pillar that I have found that working with my clients really helps them ditch this busy for a slower, more intentional year. This third pillar is having their stretch goals, knowing what they want most in 2026. So your core values are what's most important in your life. Like a core value of our house, y'all, is winning. Like we love winning. And it's very important to us that we're doing things that are pulling out the greatest versions of us, we're raising our excellence at all times, and that in the different areas of our life, we're winning. That is truly one of our core values. But your stretch goals are looking at those 8 areas of alignment that I talk about on multiple times. I've talked about that on multiple episodes here. And also, again, the tools are in the book club. You can grab them there and you can get these 8 areas of alignment like, Selah, spiritual, emotional, financial, family, the 8 areas. Picking 3 of those areas and setting metrics and deciding what do I really want most out of 2026 and looking at what areas you're deciding that you want to pull from. We do this individually and then we also do it as a couple. Y'all know from our podcast with Kobe a couple weeks ago that 2 areas that he really wants to work on this year, one is Selah and one is spiritual. So he picked 2. And then the other one is, of course, career because he is graduating this year. If y'all do not know this, he already went to college for education. And then he got a lot of self-doubt and he quit when he was nearly done. But that was 20 years ago. So about 5 years ago in COVID, he went back to school. I say from the negative beginning because he actually kind of had to take some prereq courses to even get into the basic courses because it had been so long. And he is officially going to be graduating this year. So he can be a history teacher or keep the job that he has. So that is another one of his metrics that he's working on, one of his areas that he's got metrics for that he's working on. But what I love to do with clients is I love to look at those 8 areas, help them identify which 3 would they love to focus on this year. We set metrics within that to go, what is the greatest feeling that you want to have in that area, and what metrics are going to help you achieve that feeling in that area. So let's say that you want to work on financial this year. When you think about your finances, how do you want to feel about your finances? How do you want to feel about them? And then now, what metrics would make you feel that way? Now, for some people, it could be, having so much invested, having so much saved. It could be hitting finances to purchase a different home or go on a different vacation, or do the home and the vacation and the savings and the investments and have an overflow. Like maybe the feeling that you want to have is overflow. And so then it's building metrics underneath that on literally how much do you need to bring in and what do you need to do with that money as it's coming in. And so in my one-on-one coaching leadership container, we look at that and we do a monthly 60-minute coaching session where we also have in-between session guidance where I'm right there with you to help you talk through some decisions, identity shifts, monthly check-in for your stretch goals, all that good stuff. And we help keep you on the right path, making sure that you're looking at those. And then every single month in our coaching session, or if you were doing this on your own, you'd want to look at those stretch goals. So at the beginning of every month, Kobe and I sit down and we look at our 3 areas, look at our stretch goals for the year, and we rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. And what I want you to do this year, when you're looking at that every month and you're rating yourself from 1 to 10, I don't want you to judge yourself, because it could be a 10 this month, but it could be a 1 next month. Like, I'm going to be so honest with y'all. I don't know what my deal is. I have worked out all my life, 5 to 7 days a week, 1 to 2 to 3 times a day. But I will tell y'all, this last year has been the hardest year of my life to get my workouts in. And a lot of it has to do with proximity. Where we live, it's really blown up. And it takes way too long for me to drive to Pilates, and I get really frustrated, and I only like 2 instructors with their times, and it's just become this whole thing. And so then I have a whole gym at my house, and I do good a couple days a week, but I'm not hitting every day a week. So, y'all know, I'm a big advocate of throwing money at a problem that you can't solve. So I probably need to post in my neighborhood and ask who's a personal trainer that can show up at my door at 6 a.m. for 30 days in a row so I can change that. But if I'm going to rate myself right now in the month of January, because one of my stretch goals for the year is physical, right? To be the strongest that I've ever been, to be in the best shape of my life, which that's a freaking goal to set because I used to have abs, but here we go. If I got to measure myself this month, it's a 1. But I'm working on a little project that I think is going to help me. And so maybe next month it'll be a 10. But then we're going to get to July and it's hotter than sin in Phoenix. And I'm probably not going to want to go outside as much. It's going to be hot. I'm not even going to want to work out in the house unless I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning. And so it could go back down to a 3, right? And it's okay, right? It's knowing that 1 month might be a 10, the next month might be a 2, and then you might be a 7 and a 4 and then a 5. And it's okay, but it's just making sure that you're tracking that every single month to get grounded in reality and be honest with yourself. Hold all of the good, all the places that you're achieving, and all of the bad, the places that you're kind of sucking and not doing what you know that you want to do. Being able to hold both of those things at once, and that's just increasing your emotional intelligence with yourself. The 4th pillar that I like to work with clients on when we look at ditching the busy and increasing the intention are just tools. Adding more tools to your toolbox that help you manage your time better, look at your habits, and increasing your emotional awareness. I was talking with a client yesterday and I said to her, I know. Sometimes it sucks to be the one in the family with all the tools in the toolbox. I get it. Why can't I just freak out and have a bad day and lose my mind and be emotionally unaware for 1 day? For 1 day, I'm going to lock my toolbox and drop it to the bottom of the ocean and just, act unhinged like everybody else. But I will tell you that That's not going to create more peace in your life, and it's definitely not going to get rid of some of the busy. So, looking at what tools can you add in your toolbox this year? Maybe it's just a time management tool where you're literally prepping your meals. Like, do you have a meal planning sheet that you're setting down on the weekends, figuring out what is my schedule this week, what meals should we have according to the schedule that we have this week, and either going and grabbing your groceries, picking up your groceries, having your groceries delivered? Is it doing a weekly plan sheet? Or you're sitting down and you're really planning out your week so you're not just living hour by hour and letting life live you. Maybe it is an emotional awareness tool. Maybe you need to read a new book every month this year, which is why we have things like the book club, because maybe you don't have time to read the book. You're like, but I can be in this book club and I can listen to the recording of what they're talking about this book, and I can get that, and I can increase my emotional awareness this year through that. Maybe you want to learn what your Enneagram is, learn more about your Enneagram, learn more about yours and your significant other's Enneagram or your family's Enneagram. On the 28th of January, we are doing an Enneagram for Women in Leadership and Business workshop, 90 minutes over the lunch hour, specifically focused on helping women understand the Enneagram from the perspective of how is this affecting me in my leadership role and in my business. Okay, so just that, looking at adding more tools to your toolbox to increase your effectiveness and your self-awareness at work and at home. So, y'all, I hope you are here and ready to ditch the busy and have a slower, more intentional year, remembering that a confused mind does nothing. So you got to figure out what you want. Busy is not a badge of honor. Do not let the world convince you that you need to be rushing all over the place and acting like a chicken with your head cut off. I honestly think that the hottest thing a woman can wear in 2026 is peace. She just walks into a room, totally peaceful, knowing that she has all the time in the world to get everything done that she needs to get done. Now, if my Pilates friends are listening to this, they're absolutely laughing because I am always sprinting into Pilates class. But the reason I'm sprinting is because I'm really just trying to beat somebody to this reformer. I only like this one reformer. Y'all, this is another thing. I keep not booking more Pilates classes because I'm like, I do not have time to leave my house 45 minutes before class so I can be there 15 minutes before class to say my Pilates reformer. So to be really all, what we're doing, Kobe and I, we are looking at purchasing a reformer for our home because we really keep pulling everything back and going, what is sucking our time and just no longer a good fit, right? I've had a Pilates membership I've been taking Pilates for over a decade, and it has been such a great fit. But right now in this current season, I've just come to this place where it just maybe isn't a good fit anymore. And maybe the best fit is for me to get into a routine where I'm working out by myself at home every single day. And so looking at that, y'all, I want to encourage you to look at all those areas of your life. Look at what are the little thoughts in my brain that hold me back and convince me I need to be busier than I need to be, or that tend to suck up my time. What are my core values? What's really most important? Do I need to be the one that's doing this, or is this something that I could delegate to somebody else? Am I even doing what's important to me at all? Do I even know what my core values are? What do you really want in 2026? Have you picked out 3 things that are non-negotiables, and have you set your life up this year to be able to go after those and get those? And then 4 tools. Ask yourself, what are 1 to 3 tools that you are committed to adding to your toolbox this year? Maybe it's learning a personality modality. Maybe it's reading a growth and leadership book every single month. Whatever that is, figure it out, write it down. So I cannot wait to hear what y'all have to say about this. So again, y'all know where to find me. Come to Instagram, find me there. Let me know how this episode resonated for you. Let me know what your stretch goals are. I want to be your biggest cheerleader and your #1 raving fan. Let me know what are those sneaky little thought habits slipping up and stealing your time. I want to know about them. I hope to see you either in our leadership container, in our book club, or on January 28th for our Enneagram for Women in Leadership and Business. All right, All Things Excellence fam, episode 99. Thank you so much for listening with me all 99 episodes. I will see you right back here next week so you can celebrate together for episode 100. Thanks for listening, and I will talk with y'all next time. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step, or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you. And my intro clarity call is a great place to start, because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.